my fellow DIYers, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jamie, and in today's video I'm going to be using a professional DIY leather and vinyl repair kit. This is by Laxmorph and found it on Amazon for about $16.90, and we're going to be repairing the leather car seats. So this is a 2013 BMW X5 that we bought, and as you can see, the leather seats here are just pretty worn out, you know, fitted, cracked, everything. The armrest, same difference. All of the seats, the middle, everything, they're all just pretty worn and cracked. I've tried leather repair, you know, patches on other seats before. Nothing works out. So we're gonna give this a try and stick around and see how it turns out. So I'm just opening it up here. Like I said, this is the white cream. Ordered this one because I'm dealing with a white leather here, and there are large spots that need repaired. And I plan on keeping this car as my daily driver for a while, so I bought this one that has more quantity of shades of white versus one that has a multicolor. I'll tell you more on that one later, because I found a couple other brands that are cheaper of the same product, but they're multicolor, which I'll break that down for you at the end of the video. But either way, this should be a money saver. I was actually quoted $350 to get all of the repair done by a professional, and it would be well over $1,000 to have the entire thing replaced. So I'm not doing that. I want everything to look, you know, new and shiny without all the big price tags. Like I said, I've tried other things. Patches are ugly, car seat covers, well, you get the picture. So it looks like this came with a mixer, a little brush, a little spatula, and a little bowl for mixing. And looks like these might be gloves. Yeah, they're gloves, pretty sure. Yeah, they're gloves. And, you know, just different shades of all the colors, a little gray there too, so you can get the right tint, I guess. So it's got their little instruction book here. Prepare the damaged area. It says by carefully cleaning, I would imagine. Yeah, cleaning. And removing any rough or jagged bits of damaged leather. Don't really have that. Use the patching color grid to identify the right color. So here's a little grid. Oh, that looks like fun. And looks like they've also got, this is a little patch here, I guess, if you have any torn spots in your leather, which I do not, so we're not going to use that. But looks like I'm going to go ahead and start mixing this according to what this color grid is telling me. So let's see how it turns out. we've got so far. I am not super impressed with the results. I'm not really against the product, I guess, but there is some unevenness a lot. I am definitely disappointed in two things, I guess. The color, for one, it's not that off, but I use the absolute darkest. Here's the color shade, the shade guide. I use the darkest combination possible, and as you can see, the darkest combination possible here is a lot darker than my seats. It's definitely lighter than the rest. I don't know if you can tell, and that's using the darkest combination. So I'm not impressed with that. I would definitely go with a darker shade than what your leather is, unless it's black, of course. Or just go with the multicolor and just mix what you can. And I'm also disappointed with the application process. I mean, it tells you, I followed all the instructions to a T. It tells you to apply that obviously with the paintbrush, and I think that maybe it would be a little bit better, more successful with applying it with maybe like a cloth, or maybe a very, very slightly damp cloth, which is what I started to do right here. You can kind of see the difference is a little bit better of quality versus here that I just used the paintbrush. It turned out better with the cloth. Plus it's very time consuming. This took me a long time. I mean, over 30 minutes just with the paintbrush doing this. I filled little cracks first. And literally just, 2 seconds to do this little area right here with the cloth. What I think I'm going to do is sand over this lightly to even out the spots, because it's very uneven. It's the first time doing this, so I'm just kind of like guessing as to how to fix this. It doesn't look all that even. So I'm going to sand over it. I'm going to sand using like a 320 grit sandpaper, even it out, and then I think I'll just wipe some more over the top. I'm not going to get a different color because I've got so much of this shade left already, so it's just going to have to be a little bit lighter than the back of the seat, and I assume it'll probably darken up with use anyways. But the product, I think, is still good. It's just gotta tweak it a little bit. I mean, look at these cracks, and these weren't bad cracks compared to what this seat had. This was definitely the worst one. It does feel like leather. It looks it, if you get close up, it feels good. It feels like it's genuine leather. It's not, like a cheap result looking. And definitely, I think it's still overall, even though we could work on the evenness of it and the color, definitely overall, it is better than putting a fake leather patch over it and having that patch, bumpy and peel up, or just covering it up. So, well, I'm gonna sand it and see what happens. So the sanding definitely did help even it out quite a bit. And then I did wipe it on with a damp cloth at first. I ditched the gloves in and used a little finger painting to even it out a little bit more until I got pretty close to what I think should be final result. It's still not perfect. I would still go with a darker shade for sure. But I mean, overall, it does look a lot better than it did before. And it beats putting anything else on it for the price. Looking back at the before and afters, it is quite a dramatic change. So yeah, up until this point, I'm pretty happy. I went ahead and went through with it and got it done. So there you have it. I've done all the guesswork for you. In all honesty, I think it would have been much better and funner if I would have just tried to finger paint it on to begin with. The directions to apply it with the paintbrush are useless. I've only finished a driver's side seat though so far because I'm going to try it out for a couple weeks. First, you know, I'm not the easiest on my car seats. Honestly, this car is kind of elevated and I'm pretty guilty of just, you know, sliding my butt off and on the car seat as I'm getting out without really trying to pick myself up by stepping on the footstep like I should. And I do transport patients as well, so we're all getting in and out of the car seats all day, you know, so I want to make sure that this stuff is not going to just rub off or flake off on somebody's clothes or, you know, ruin somebody's clothes or melt off, I don't know, before doing all the rest of the work and putting the work into it. I may end up having to just buy seat covers, who knows. But if you stick around to the end, I will show you the results after 2 weeks. So I'll see you in 2 weeks. Here we are 2 weeks later, and I'm pretty happy with how this stuff is held up. Just take a look at it here. I mean, these were pretty major cracks right here. And it's been quite cold these last few days. And I've had the seat warmer on, so I'd think at the least that they would start, you know, kind of opening back up. And they really haven't. It's pretty tough stuff. I'm pretty impressed, actually. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and... the camera around here. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link. Like I said, if you have a large patch of leather that you're going to be doing like I am, or like I did, you're going to want to probably buy the one that has several shades of that color, but go with a darker color because it's definitely lighter than it says. And I have also found, like I said, another one that is multicolor. So if you're just doing little patches, little bitty spots of maybe, you know, leather shoes or your couch, because this stuff is good for everything, and you only have a little spot, then go with maybe the multicolor. I found it quite a bit cheaper. I'll drop that link as well. And I also found it for $5 on Temu. So there's that $2.99 shipping fee, of course, but maybe it's worth it. So I'll drop that too as well. Well, now you have it. Of course, if you want to see more No BS DIY videos, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more. See you next time.